Moving on though, a lot of teams failed in the bubble. Rockets failed, Clippers failed, Sixers failed, Milwaukee failed. Toronto didn't fail, Boston didn't fail. They just lost. Those four teams, those are the main four teams that really failed. Utah didn't really. Nah, they didn't really fail.
Utah?
Yeah, Utah.
No, Utah didn't fail. They lost to a higher seed.
Yeah, that's the higher seed, so they didn't really fail. And Indiana don't even care regardless. No offense if there's an Indiana fan watching, but no one cares about you guys. Yeah, but mainly those four teams. From all those four teams, who do you think was the biggest failure this year?
It's easy.
Who?
The Philadelphia 76ers are the biggest bust of this season. I won't say the playoffs because everyone knew they sucked by the time the playoffs came.
That is true. Yeah, the season they're more of a failure of the season than the playoffs. I agree with that.
But this season, I won't lie, they called me for like a week. When they signed Al Horford, I was like, damn, like Boston, like they lost their big that was holding Embiid. And I was like, for like not even a week, for like 2 days, they called me. I was like, maybe they'll cause some problems this year.
Yo, quick story. I'm a Celtics fan if you guys don't know. When we lost Horford, this guy really came. I was in the car with him. We were talking. He said, "Yo, I know you're sad. You guys lost Horford. You're gonna suck. Sixers are better than you guys." I was like, "What are you even talking about?" Al Horford. Okay, I'm not gonna say Al Horford's not good because that's a lie. But as a Celtics fan, I seen him on the downswing of his career. So I told him I'm not really that mad about it. I didn't know how we were gonna replace him. I didn't know it was gonna be Theis. I thought honestly Robert Williams was gonna take a step forward and be the starting center this year. But I just knew we'd be fine without him. These guys like, no, you guys lost. Six is better. Explain yourself, bro. Explain yourself.
Right. For 2 days, they got caught in the hype. I won't lie. Like, it looked like they added a huge piece. Horford was good the year before. But then I just came to my senses. Ben Simmons, Al Horford, and Joel Embiid on the court at the same time. So who are they kicking it out to? Tobias Harris?
I guess that's what they thought.
I just thought to myself, I was like, this can't work.
Remember, the first thing I told you is that this is not the 1990s. Not playing two bigs on the court.
Two bigs on the court. It makes no sense to clog a paint when your point guard can't spread the floor. And it makes no sense. They came into the season, they're like, all right, we got the Embiid stopper. But he stopped Embiid on Philly. Like Embiid,
that's right. He was an Embiid stopper on Philly as well. Because the thing about off the top of my head, another team that played two bigs was Lakers, but it's different because Anthony Davis can play on the perimeter.
Al Horford's shot went away. Like he kind of had a shot year before, but it was not the same.
And even Miami used to play two bigs with Myers Leonard and Bam, but they stopped playing Myers Leonard because they realized it made them worse. Myers Leonard hasn't seen the court since. Is he even at the bubble? I don't even know. Is he there? Like
he's making the most noise on the bench, to be honest.
yeah. He's part of the bench mob. But other than that, in 2020, there's no reason to be playing two bigs.
No, and then in Philly now, it's just weird because they're stuck. They paid out Horford 4 years, $109 million. That's a hard contract to get rid of.
And the worst part is that's not the worst contract on the team.
Tobias Harris with this max 5-year, 180 deal. I don't know where you go from there. I think you gotta get. Well, they got Doc Rivers now. It's interesting.
Today.
For sure, I'll upgrade over Brett Brown. Brett Brown, you weren't it. I don't know what you were doing with that team, but nah, we weren't it. Doc Rivers, he's for sure an upgrade. He's an overachiever on a worse team. But with the best teams he's had, he's kind of underachieved. But when his teams aren't that great, he's done some special. Like when he took Golden State to 6 with Lou Williams leading the way. That's pretty exciting to watch.
Next year he's gonna go into the East next year with the 5th best odds to win the conference, and that's exactly where he likes to be. He likes to be in that spot where there's not too much pressure. So I'm not gonna pick them, but next year comes, let's say a 4-5 matchup, Philly versus Toronto or Philly versus Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly beat one of them because that's what Doc was known for. But then the second they beat one of those teams and you start thinking, oh, these guys are good, and then they see a Boston or a Brooklyn or a Milwaukee second round, they will lose. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
100%. And then I still don't think it will work if Al Horford is there. I really feel like I'm hearing the rumor a lot. They're trying to get Buddy Hield, and they're trying to get Al Horford to Sacramento. If they can pull that off somehow, I think they would have to give up Thibault for that to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Because I don't think Sacramento is going to take on that contract without getting a piece that Thibault is nice. We want this kind of wing defender on our team, which I think he would fit pretty well with Sacramento.
You see, Buddy's even liking Instagram pictures of him in Sixers uniforms.
Yeah, he is.
Because he knows the fit's there.
The fit would be nice.
Ben Simmons is going to find him. Embiid, when he's in the post, he's going to kick it out to him. Then, even if he's not Buddy Hield's not the greatest defender, but Philly, their perimeter defense is good right now with Simmons and Josh Richardson.
No, it can
So,
for sure
so
work.
it could work.
Tobias goes to the 4, where like I feel like he's a lot better at the 4 than at 3.
That is something that really did snake him a lot this year. He's playing out of position. They had everyone on their team playing the wrong position except like
Embiid.
Embiid. Yeah, Al Horford's better at the 5. Tobias is better at the 4. Those are natural positions. And then even in the bubble in the seeding games, they had Ben Simmons playing the 4. That's not his best position. Ben Simmons is a point guard.
He's just big.
He's just big. He is a point guard. But for me, my biggest disappointment of the year, it's not even close. You know who I'm gonna say. It's the Clippers. Come on. Before the year, people said they were gonna win a title. Vegas gave them the best preseason odds to win a title. They said Kawhi and Paul George were the best wing duo since MJ and Scottie Pippen. They won 6 rings. Paul George is known as playoff P for bad reasons. There's no reason why you guys ever fell for the hype. I told this guy all year. I told all my friends all year. The Clippers are frauds. They had no rim protector. They had no playmaker. They had no ball handler. What did they have? They had Patrick Beverley. Like Westbrook said, he'd be tricking y'all. That's all he's doing. He's tricking y'all. He's just out there running. He's not doing nothing. Didn't even play. Didn't even listen to the analytic team. The whole season they said, when you guys play Denver, you're not going to win with Trez on the court. You have to play Zubac at the 5. It's the only chance you have. In the series, they were the plus minus minutes between Zubac and Trez on the court was substantial. And Doc Rivers just seen that and didn't care. That's why Steve Ballmer fired him.
That's exactly why he got fired. I just don't understand how you can see such a blaring, like, obvious problem, and you're choosing not to fix it. You just don't have to play Trez.
I don't even get, like, it's like Trez had secrets on him. Because I understand, like, he earned his spot in the rotation throughout the regular season.
He was 6th man of the year.
6th man of the year. But at some point, after you blow game 5, does nothing go off in your head like, okay, maybe like I should stop? And then after you blow game 6, did nothing go off like, oh yeah, maybe I should stop? Then you're in a game 7, you still continue to play Trez? You just don't want to win.
If you're a good coach, coaching is all about adjustments. No matter what you make as a game plan to start the game, it's half the time it's not going to work because the other team's like assuming your game plan, so they're going to try countering it. Your adjustments at halftime and what you can do after that is what wins you games. Doc Rivers made none.
No adjustments.
He had to go 100%. Ballmer, it was funny. You even sent this to me. Ballmer, what he said, Michael
MPG.
Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. was the key factor in beating them, and he wanted to draft MPJ in 2018, and they said, nah, he's injury prone.
The worst part about
he's
that,
undraftable.
the worst part about that is they initially they had 2 picks back to back. I think it was 12 and 13. They took Shai, which was a great pick, and then their next pick would have been MPJ if they listened to Ballmer. That would have been 2 bangers. And the fact that they traded away their whole young core for Paul George, they actually do need a guy on like MPJ on their team right now. So like because Paul George acquire free agents this summer, like next summer.
If everything goes like loose, like they lose Kawhi, they lose George Paul. That's what I'm gonna call him these days right now because he doesn't deserve that full name right now. But they lose George Paul, they lose Kawhi. They're done.
Yeah, they're done. But if MPJ was there,
you have that bright spot.
Yeah, you
can
have hope.
Build. Like maybe you can trade for some other guys somehow. Like, you can bring in a couple pieces.
You even take like bad contracts just to like get some
surround
picks,
some vets or like whatever.
So you could have done a lot of things.
No, and Clippers were a pretty big fill, but for me, the reason why I chose Philly over Clippers is because they're not done. Their next year is gonna be. I think they're gonna win the title next year. I still believe that the bubble is the reason why they lost this year. I think with no bubble, they still would have won the championship. They would have won the conference finals, beat LeBron James, and then they would have won the chip. I think the bubble screwed everything up for them.
My thing with the Clippers, I won't count them out. I think they are going to come back and be better next year. Credit to Colin Cowherd. He said something smart. He's the worst basketball analyst ever, but he did say one thing smart. He said if you look at the like past championship winners, you really are almost as good as your number 2 option. And with that being said, I don't know how much I trust Paul George. So Golden State coming back, you know I'm a Klay Thompson stan. So I might pick Golden State over Clippers next year.
But are you an Andrew Wiggins fan? Because Andrew Wiggins is going to play a big part in that too.
Yeah, but he's the 3rd best player. And Steve Kerr, whoever Clippers hire, Steve Kerr's probably going to run circles around him as a coach. So
Ty Lue?
Okay, I like Ty Lue.
Yeah, I know you like Ty Lue.
They had their matchups. You wouldn't run circles around Ty Lue.